Welcome to Simplify to Scale, a show dedicated to helping you scale a high impact and high profit business that you love without all of the complexity and chaos that can keep you trapped in the day-to-day. I'm your host, Krista Grasso, and with decades of scaling experience, I know what actually works and what's just hype. So if you are done with all of the one-size-fits-all scaling advice and all of the overnight success promises, and instead you want proven practical strategies that will help you simplify operations, elevate your leadership, amplify profits, and scale sustainably, let's dive in and get started. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Simplify to Scale show. Today, I am super excited to have Dawn Ferguson on the show, and we are going to be talking about a topic that I think you all are probably thinking about, and that is, how the heck do I make this marketing thing in social media actually work today, in the day of AI, and in the day of so many new businesses cropping up? And how do you stand out? How do you have still a really high impact presence, high impact brand? So I met Dawn recently, and as soon as we started talking, I said, I must have you on the podcast. I know people are going to love what you have to say. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Dawn, and then we are going to get into all of the good, juicy stuff about marketing and the future of marketing, and keeping things really high impact and standing out above the noise. So Dawn is a brand and marketing strategist. She has 20 years of experience turning businesses into brands that consumers trust and talk about. As the founder and CEO of Sneakers Plus Kale, which isn't that like the best name ever, and the host of the Business of Inspiration podcast, she helps purpose-driven brands cut through the noise and become impossible to ignore, with the mission to take the mental load out of marketing so founders can focus on what they do best while their vision reaches the people who need it most. Dawn, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course. All right. So let's kick this party off with, what do you see as some of the things that you would consider? I'm going to call it the future of marketing, which sounds so big and grand, but really, like, what are the things that you see are working right now? And as you look to the near future, to
Mm,
stand out and really continue to have that strong brand presence amidst so much of the noise and so many of the changes?
Such a good question. First off, right off the bat, we talking about AI already, and we haven't even talked yet. But yes, I think AI is impacting everybody. I think now more than ever before, if you're not using AI yet in your business, what are you doing? Right. So we're all kind of getting with it. And one of the things that's coming out of that from a content perspective on social media, we're seeing a lot of AI generated content. And in a lot of cases, it feels a little bit inauthentic. And I think that's the rub that people get when they see that type of content. They're like, I can tell a human didn't create this, or it feels very chat GPT. Like we all kind of know that voice. So I think the future of marketing and high impact is really getting clear on who you are, on what makes you and your brand unique and what is authentic to you. And it's showing up in that authenticity. I think as a result of so much AI, so much B roll, stock video, so much, right, that we see in between everybody's YouTube videos, and a lot of that on TikTok now. I think with all of that happening, something that's really standing out for our clients, a lot of founder led brands, is getting your face out there, you showing up. So, actual humans in the content and video that has always worked well, by the way, over the last 2 decades when it comes to social media. But I think now more than ever before, like we see with social, it always goes, when Snapchat first came about, everybody was like getting really frustrated with Instagram being so aspirational, and we can no longer just share a photo from our day. It became so like we have to do a whole photo shoot. So then Snapchat happens, everyone goes over there. We like this. It's ephemeral. It ends in 24 hours. And so then all of a sudden, Instagram launches stories too. And so we've kind of seen the landscape shift like that over the years. So I do predict that all of the rise of AI and all this AI content is going to lead us there. It's going to lead us back to more genuine interaction, more humanity, more human faces, more uniqueness. The other two things I would say, along with that, I just want to extra emphasize it for those of you in the back, is really your authenticity. What's authentic to you? Who are you in your business? What energy do you want people to walk away with when they encounter your brand and remember you by? That is the kind of way that you want to be showing up in your authenticity. So if you're a brand, that helps people release the mental load of motherhood, making this up, I want your social media, I would really want that to feel like, calm and peaceful. We want to give people that energy of what does it feel like, which leads me to my next point is the biggest thing that's standing out across the board when it comes to marketing, when it comes to the future. What I am seeing, we see a lot of people talking about problems. People are like, "Oh, what's your problem? This is your problem. I'm going to solve it." And let's push on those pain points. But I believe that the future and where we're at today is all about empowerment. It's about inspiring people. It's about talking about the results and the transformation that you get them. It's the aspirate. We've been doing this in brand marketing for years, right? It's called the aspirational lifestyle of your brand. But that's ultimately, aspirational lifestyle isn't just for Nike. It's not just for Patagonia. Like it's for your business too. And it's really just all about getting clear on what does your audience want more than anything, because that's what they're scrolling Instagram for right now. They're looking for tips and secrets and how can I get that result? So when you can start talking about more of the results and empowering people and inspiring them and showing them what's possible for them based off of people that you're working with, that's what I feel like really cuts through the noise and gets attention.
Ah, so good and so true. It's as you were talking, I had this one brand pop into my head. And I can tell, first of all, that their content is AI generated because just take the extra 5 seconds and remove the long dashes, the contrasting statements, and all of the emojis that are
Yes.
very clearly an AI structure. Like it doesn't take that long. Just edit them out, and then it doesn't look like you copied and pasted out of ChatGPT. Like,
And then
but it
tell
drives
ChatGPT to stop doing it. Right?
exactly. I trained mine to not do that. But, yes,
Exactly.
exactly. And so, like, first of all, you see that and you know that it's AI generated, but her content got so heavy-handed on beating down the problem and the
Mm,
problem and the problem and the problem that it felt very disempowering. Like, I was like, if
yes.
I was the person who had that issue, I wouldn't wanna open up her post because 'cause I'd feel terrible about
It
myself.
turns you off. Oh my gosh, can I share another example just like that?
Yeah.
I was looking for I'm like not the most organized person, I'm gonna be honest. My husband is, and it drives him crazy that I will just stuff stuff into anyway, one weekend, I'm like, I'm scrolling on TikTok. I need to find some home organization inspo. I need to be inspired. So I go on there and I'm looking and I search and I find this one account and it was like very dark and she's certainly probably a great designer because she goes to hoarders houses, right? And all I saw was hoarders houses, like all this junk. And she's like, let's design this. But she wasn't showing the after result. And all I felt was like worse about my situation. Even though I'm not as bad as those people, I just felt worse. So I left. And then I go and I find another account that's like, oh, look at all this amazing. You know what I mean? And you see the beauty and it just, it knocks you off your feet. It makes you feel good. That is the point of marketing. It's not to make people feel crappy so that they need you. No, it's about making them feel inspired and good so that they come back for more.
And this is why I wanted Dawn on the podcast because she is speaking my language. Just this morning, we were having a social media meeting with my team, and we were talking about some changes that I really want to see in some of our content. And one of my team members, she's brand new, and she was looking and she's like, here's how I would describe your style. It's possibility, but relatability. It's very relatable, but filled with
Love
possibility.
that.
And I was
Yeah,
like, that's our tag. That
I
all
love
social
that.
media that we do this point forward should be relatable possibility. That is the filter that we are putting it all through. And
I
it was great
love
because
that.
she just came in new to the brand, and that was what she took away. And I was like, that's exactly what I'm trying to go to. It's not that we don't talk about relatable scenarios, but we're not trying to like poke and prod and be like, you're so wrong for doing things this way. And I see so many brands approach it that way. And
Same.
I love the way that you're speaking about approaching things.
Yes, absolutely. And when we think about it, like these are not new ideas. My background, I spent 15 years running social media and brand marketing for brands like Forever 21, Fabletics, Vital Proteins, Century 21 Department Store, like all of these, bigger brands, but they're doing the same thing. It's all about, I used to tell my team at Fabletics, as an example, we're not selling leggings. We are not in the legging business. We are in the inspiration business. We are here. We are not selling leggings on Instagram. We're painting a picture of what your life looks like when you're wearing them. And I think that's such a big thing that, especially for us service providers, when we look at brands like that, we don't think we can market like Nike. We don't think that that's not us. Like I'm a very different business, but it's really the same fundamentals, the same concepts apply. All these big brands do is come up with that beautiful lifestyle and they paint that picture and they show you what it's like. So we can see that like makes sense when we're selling products, but as a service provider too, it's the same thing. What are the results? People aren't they don't want to buy your service. They want to buy a new life. They want to buy results. They want to buy transformation. So how can we paint the picture of what that looks like once you've been going through the services? You've gone through your program. What does life look like then? That's what you want your social media to really encapsulate and show.
Yes, 1,000,000 times yes. And along those lines, we kind of already dove right into it, but I'm super curious. Are there any other mistakes that you see brands make or patterns that people have done historically that you think really need to continue shifting as we move forward with the way that brands are marketing?
Mm. I think one of the age old ones that I've always preached, and I think we've made huge strides like culturally just over the last 2 decades. More businesses have gotten hip to this. And I think we're in a place where we're there now, but also the AI is coming up, which is just this idea that people don't buy from companies, they buy from people. So, the beauty of social media is that it's meant to give this behind the scenes look inside your business. It's meant to help get to know you better. It's meant to help us make that purchase decision, to build trust, to see that the humans behind the business and that we're buying from people, not a company. So often though, I see people as a business show up on social media and think, oh, I'm a business. I got to button up my bow tie. I got to like be really stuffy and wear my blazer all the time, and we forget, we lose sight of, no, we're human and people want to buy from us. They want to get to know us. So I think that's a big mistake I see. And then the other thing is like for brand, well, like that, when you show up and you just show your products or you just show your customer your testimonials, you just show, those kind of things. Again, it's bring your humanity in, show yourself too. And then along with that, I love Simon Sinek, and I think he's a soul sister, I almost said. You know what I mean? Um, but I love, he talks about people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it, right? And it's all about better understanding your why and your purpose. And for service providers, especially, I always like to dig into what's your origin story? Why are you doing this business? Like, because most of us, especially purpose driven businesses, like you're in it, you would be doing this even if you were making money or not. Like, if money didn't exist and we were all just looking for ways to spend our time, this is probably a way that you would be helping people because it's what you do best and you're passionate about it. And there's probably a reason why you do it because you believe philosophically people should not have to struggle with this thing or whatever it is. So I think really bringing that into your content and really approaching your marketing from this mindset or this paradigm of I'm here to serve. I'm just here to serve and I'm here to help people and I'm here to share my story and give as much value as I can, and in so doing I'm going to ultimately grow my business and that's going to be a byproduct of it. But it's really not about that. It's about me coming up, showing up, serving, and all of that.
Yeah, and one of the things that I hear a lot from my clients, and I'm sure you probably hear when new clients come in to work with you, is there's so much conflicting advice, and there's so much you've got to post this many times a day, and you've got to do this, and you've got to be on this platform, and if you're not doing it this way, it's not going to work. And oh, by the way, and that was yesterday. Now today you've got to do this thing. And what do you do, and what do you tell business owners to take a lot of the overwhelm out of marketing and out of social media and really just keep it very real instead of constantly chasing shiny objects and trends and things like that.
Yeah. Okay, so let's think about what is the purpose, first of all, of being on social media and creating online content in general. The way I look at it is our goal there is one, we of course want to build community around our business, but really we want to connect with people who believe what we believe and need what we have to offer, right? So in approaching it that way again, we're kind of taking it from that lens. And I think when we know we want to do that, first we need to get clear on, so there's a few key things. Number one, platforms. So yes, it's so overwhelming. We feel like we have to be everywhere, but I like to preach literally pick one focus. So I usually tell people either pick one channel or pick, in an ideal world, you pick one long form channel and one short. So your long form channel could be your podcast, a YouTube channel, a blog, an email newsletter, something where you get to go longer form, because social media is very short form. It's bite size, it's little pieces. So ideally we have a long form channel where we're showing up and giving a ton of value. And then we're gonna have a short form channels where we can, disseminate that information. So start there, keep it simple for yourself. Don't try to be everywhere. If you're listening to someone like Gary Vaynerchuk, who's talking about hustle, you need to show up, you need to post 100 times a week. You don't. You do not have to do that. You do not have to chase trends. I get so many people ask me, they're like, but I don't know how the algorithm works and I can't keep up with it. I don't know. And I'm like, babe, let me just tell you this. First of all, you don't really need to know how the algorithm works. I'm going to say it. And half the time, I teach people on a lot of this, and this is what people pay me to help them understand the algorithms. But at the end of the day, what you need to do is just show up in your authenticity. You need to be yourself. You need to show yourself, because the algorithm rewards that. Whether we know what that is or not, we see people who are being uniquely themselves and doing what they do best, it gets served again and again. You need to understand your audience and who you're talking to. And you need to just understand the basics of how your platform works. And the basic recommendation I give there is, the best writers read. If you're an author, you're a writer, you read books. And by reading books, you get to better understand the sentence structure of how to write. And it just flows more easy when you sit down to write. It's the same thing with social media. If you're going to be on TikTok, please do not put your brand on TikTok and do it yourself unless you yourself use TikTok and you understand it and you know how it works, because it makes it so much easier. You'll just kind of get in the frame of thinking and you know how to use it, and you don't have to do that all the time. It's not about tracing trends, and that leads me to my last point, which is get really clear on your content strategy and what you're using it for. We talked about that in the beginning, but also one of the biggest benefits of content is that it makes you have to work less hard. Content does the work for you while you're sleeping. So you need to create, I like to think of, what are all the frequently asked questions I get about what I do? What do I do? What do I help people with? And how do I do it uniquely than my competitors or people offering something similar? And then once you get clear on all of that, I just want you to go create a bunch of content answering those questions and speaking to those points. And then do it in a way where you can design your feed or your channel to really serve that content up for people to consume it when they're considering working with you. So I like to call it turning your profile page into a sales page, right? Because a sales page, we structure them beautifully. We put all the things they need there to make a decision: testimonials and social proof, problem solutions, what's included, all of it. So you just want to think about your profile pages in that way. And design it that way. And one thing, there's a lot you can do, but one thing I will say is make sure you're leveraging cover graphics. If you're using Instagram or TikTok, make sure you're leveraging those cover graphics to put the topic of what is in that video or that content that you're talking about, that value you're giving. Because when people come check you out and they're scrolling through your feed, they're literally going to tap on the videos that's going to help them get to know you and answer those questions that they're looking to get answered. So the easier you can make that on other people of where to find it and how to, you know what I mean? The easier it's going to be. And the more warm sales calls you're going to get. That's one of the beautiful side effects I see of or benefits that my clients experience is once we do this overhaul, we get your social media, your content all set up working for you. People, they'll be like, oh my God, first of all, my client sales calls, people that hop on sales calls are actually right fit clients. They're not just anybody anymore. Like what? Okay, so that's one thing. But also they're not these long drawn out. Wait, so what do you do again? You're not having to repeat yourself over and over on your sales calls because people know they're consuming that content. So they're coming to your call with questions of exactly what they want, exactly what they need to know to make a purchase decision. So your calls should shorten and just feel a lot easier. Sales becomes a lot easier when you've got content working for you.
So, again, so much brilliance in everything that you just shared. And there's one thing that I want to dig into a little bit deeper because I'm so curious of the inverse of that. Like, what is it that people are doing that causes the opposite, where they're not getting sales calls or they're getting the wrong fit people in sales calls? And I have an idea of what I think it might be. And
Tell
I'm super
me.
curious to hear your take on this.
Yeah, of course.
So, something I've been seeing so much lately, and it's driving me absolutely batty when I see people posting on this stuff, is everyone's talking about as a woman, you have to show up looking a certain way. You have to. In
Ooh, yeah.
order to be taken seriously, you must show up a certain way. And the world is watching, and everyone's watching, and you've got to do this, and you've got to, like, it's endless. I feel like I see this all the time, and maybe it's because it drives me so crazy. So I'm paying attention. So I'm seeing it more often, but I feel like it's all everyone's talking about lately. But I feel like there is a lot of pressure on people in general, regardless of who they follow, to do this, don't do this, show up this way, don't show up this way, look this way, don't look this way. And I think because of that, I suspect that people don't really know how to show up authentically because
Mm,
they're trying to get clients and they're trying to get calls and they're trying to get results. So they're trying to do what people are telling them to do. And
yes.
they kind of lose who they are and what they would want to say because they're overthinking and over strategizing it.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm so curious your take on this,
Yeah.
and if you could kind of expand upon what are those things that kind of cause the inverse reactions that people
Yeah.
like the things they don't want.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, it's such a great question. I love it. And I would definitely echo, I think what you're saying, the biggest way I see it take place is what I see in my feed is a bunch of business owners that I know, and then I see their videos and they're doing the same exact talking head video that I see from 50 other different creators on TikTok every single day. And it's so generic and it's this deliver the hook. Hi, I'm Dawn. I'm a marketing brand strategist and I help and it just becomes yes, it's
Mhm.
repetitive, it's duplicative, that it's same it's almost like the AI version of visibility in a way, isn't it? Like, yes, it's so generic. So I do think that's one huge way that you can be turning people off. And since we've been here chatting, how many times have I mentioned the word authenticity and what's unique to you? It's so important. So yes, that is one thing. Another thing, one of the biggest things that I see that's turning off your right fit clients right now when they come to your Instagram or whichever is your primary social media channel is that you are not saying that you are exactly for them. And it is not clear who you're for. So I encounter a lot of people with like niche confusion, or we don't want to go deep. We want to be for everybody, but we really do help everybody. Get it. I get it. I'm the same. I'm the exact same. I struggle with the exact same thing personally. So, yes, we help a lot of different people. But what I find, and same with my clients, what I find when we go through a strategy, we build out your strategy for you. We lay out your target audience, and typically we group it into 3 personas max. Okay? So we pick what are your top 3 people that are majority of who you're helping, and also who you're best equipped to help. Maybe who it's most profitable to help because we know their space, whatever it is. So you lay out these 3 personas, but guess what? We're not going to speak to all 3 of them. One, we're going to look for the thread between them that so we can speak to that generally ish. But 2, we're going to pick one. We're going to pick one. We're going to highlight it. We're going to star it, and we're going to talk to them specifically. And that is the one big thing I see people failing on that's turning off your people. And it's why you're getting sales calls that people are not for you. Let me give an example too. I was auditing once. I talk about this a lot because it's like to me the perfect example. I was auditing a travel company and I go to their Instagram and I'm like, okay, cool. Like this sounds great. We're a boutique travel company, la la la. Boring. Like if I was encountering them naturally, I would just be like, "Oh, this is beautiful. Okay, great. Just another one of the hundreds of thousands of travel companies in the world. Perfect. Bye." And then I would swipe away, just not even realizing. I would think it's cool, but I will never remember them. So what I told them instead is, let's say your niche, you're for parents with young children who still want to have incredible travel experiences but haven't been able to do that since they're before they had kids, and you're going to tell me you're going to plan this trip for me, and you're going to tell me in each city that we go to where all the playgrounds are and the diaper changing tables, and you're going to tell me where we can pause to have a nap, whatever it is. Oh my gosh, I will not only follow you, I will screenshot your page and I will send it to every single one of my mom friends and say, guys, we all have to do this. This sounds like the best thing ever. And I bet you I would send you like tens to thousands of dollars in just natural word of mouth and do your marketing for you because you told me that you are for me. And I'm going to go talk to people just like me in my life and tell them, oh my God, did you know this existed just for us? That is the power of niching. That is the power of telling your people you're for them and showing them that in your content. So I think that is number one, the biggest thing that people are doing wrong is not being clear, is not committing, is worrying too much that you're going to turn other people off. But that's the thing about being a magnet. When you're a magnet, think about a magnet. It attracts just as strongly as it repels. So you're going to get out there, you're going to be a magnet for your people, but in the process, you want to be repelling the people that aren't for you. And then of course there's the people that will see you and will still work with you anyway, even though you say you're for someone that's not them because they just love you. So that happens too. So don't worry too much about it.
So smart, and I find that is one of the hardest transitions for businesses to make. But for businesses that really want to break from high multi 6 to 7 and then from 7 to multi 7 and 8, you cannot do that without making that change. Like you hit a ceiling, I find. Do you find that as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of different things that I see at that point as well that you'll see distinguishing those level of brands too.
Amazing. All right. So this sounds like the perfect time to tell everyone about the incredible work that you do. So give us the rundown of how you work with businesses and what do you have going on? Anything exciting that we need to know about?
Yes, I love it. I'd like to say, I feel like for us, one of the biggest things that we do is we love to take the mental load out of marketing. So I run in an organic marketing agency called Sneakers and Kale. We specifically love to help health, wellness, social impact brands and businesses, both service providers and product based e commerce. And really, you know, we just love working with founder led brands who have a powerful message and the work that you do. You're either an expert that has been doing what you do, you've figured out this magic formula, this thing that gets people results, but you have no idea how to translate all of that into a tiny little post on social media, or what should this look like on a regular basis. And so we really help you translate your expertise and get it out there and just kind of democratize the information. I think one of the coolest things about social media today is that we have access to some of the best minds in the world like we never did before. I think about it as a parent. My parents raised me without Google or YouTube. I don't know how. And literally, I had a pediatrician prescribe to me to binge Dr. Becky's videos, was her prescription for something that was going on with my son, a deep feeling kid. So anyway, there's so much power. So we love helping these experts translate that information and get it out there and into the hands of more people that need it. Our services, we do a broad range. We specialize in strategy. So for startups and leaner teams, we build out the strategy and systems that you need to make your marketing more effective and do it more efficiently in-house. So we build out strategy for that. We also do full social media management and content creation services to help you take that off your plate. I also love we've had some incredible offers lately, or we do these social media conversion audits, and they're so powerful. If you're at all like I've been doing this for months or years and I'm not seeing conversion, or I'm not clear on what, and you ultimately want to drive more money and create more impact on the world. hop in. We will help you. We will literally audit like end to end what you're doing on social and tell you where you're leaving cash on the table. These audits have been amazing and so empowering for founders, and I've been loving doing them. So yeah, we got that. And we also offer advisory too. So we're very much like, we want to help you as the founder do social media internally and do it successfully, and you be the founder CEO that knows how to guide your team on social media, that knows what your marketing strategy is, and you have the confidence and the clarity in that to do it in-house. Or if you're like, oh my God, we just need somebody to help do this for us, like, we'll take it completely off your plate too. We love all of the above.
Yeah, Dawn is for social media what I am for operations. Like, it's seriously, what she does is so incredibly brilliant. And I especially love the audit service. I feel like that in and of itself must be so incredibly valuable for
Yeah,
brands that are like, I feel like we're doing all the things I don't know what to do next.
exactly.
So
Yes, clarity. It's all
tell
about it.
people where they can find you.
Yeah. So you can find us sneakersandkale.com, sneakers, A-N-D, kale.com. We're at Sneakers and Kale on Instagram. Slide into my DMs, please. And you can connect with me directly there on Insta. I'm also on LinkedIn, of course. Um, and yeah, come say hi and come listen to my podcast, The Business of Inspiration.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being on the show. I want to wrap up with one final question, and that is, do you have any final tips for the listeners as they look at their marketing, as they look at their social for the rest of this year, and as they're trying to figure out what they want to do to stand out and really feel very authentic in their brand?
Yes. If you're going to do that, first, I want you to do what I just did. Take a deep breath. Get grounded in who you are. Like, one of the biggest things I would say is walk away from your computer, get out of your house, go put your feet in the earth, go some or get in the bathtub or the hot tub or the wherever for you is where you just feel deeply relaxed and at peace and at home in who you are. So you can just get in that space. And I want you to get in that space and then maybe do some journaling and get clear on who are we as a brand? What do we want to be known for? And I know you've got a brand book that tells you that, and I know you've got these brand guidelines, and I'm asking you to leave that away and go somewhere else and just feel what comes up, because you know all that stuff intellectually, but I want you to get into your heart. I want you to like get into that heart space and feel into, what am I being called to do here? Like, how can I really help people? What do I really want to use this channel and my visibility for? And just get really clear on that first and get grounded in that. And from there, you can go back to your brand book. You can get clear. If you don't have a strategy yet, get a strategy built out and get clear on how to translate that. Get clear on how to translate your vision and your expertise and everything that you do into content. Because if you're not doing it, the world isn't going to know you. And the world needs the work that you're doing. So yeah, I would say that is just get into your heart, get really clear on what it is, and take a step outside of the business for a minute to really feel into that, and then come back feeling renewed and rejuvenated, because half of it at the end of the day, when you're showing up, you're getting visible, it's vulnerable and it can feel like a lot. And also the consistency and showing up. And even when we've got our team doing it for us, or we're working with an agency, we're still expanding our own vessel to hold that much more space and to hold that many more people in our orbit and in our, container. And that can be big. So we've got to up level our nervous systems to enable that to be possible. So self-care, pour into your own cup so that you can show up and be overflowing and pour into other people.
Brilliant. Dawn, thank you so much. So much value in today's episode. Everyone, all of Dawn's links will be down below. Make sure that you check her out, tune into her podcast. And if you loved this episode, if you got value from it, please do share it with someone else who would benefit from everything that she shared today. So thanks so much for tuning in. We will see you again next week. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Simplify to Scale. If you'd like to take things further, I invite you to join me for my Scale Smarter, Not Harder interactive workshop. Head to strategicopsinstitute.com/scale smarter to get registered. Not only will we dive into what might be keeping you trapped in the day-to-day, but you'll have the opportunity to ask me your questions live. If you got value out of today's episode, I'd love if you'd take a moment and rate and review the show so more businesses can learn to scale more simply and sustainably. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and I'll see you again next week.